David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all's going well. Hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. Today I have my best tips for you on melodic playing, how to really work on your phrasing and note choice and all the techniques that I feel are really important that go into this emotional, emotive, melodic playing. And the playing within the style is not just a bunch of notes, but rather you're kind of building these themes, you're building this melodic development that has its own musical integrity, right, within this larger piece of music or the song. And there's a lot of different things that you could do to help do that. And I'm just going to go over a few of them today. And we're going to use a jam track in the key of E minor, which is a simple 2-chord change, E minor to B minor. And certainly put your own spin on these techniques and the concept of space, right? Really space out your notes. Lots of vibrato, lots of big bends, lots of really milking the notes for all that they're worth. And hey, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel is really important because it helps us to keep bringing the content, right? And also then you'll be notified when we have new lessons posted. Leave a comment below. That helps too. Let us know what lessons you'd like to see, what gear you'd like to see reviewed. If you like the video, please click the like button. Give it a thumbs up, share it. We thank you so much for your support. And be sure to check out my previous lesson I posted with 5 quick melodic licks. It kind of, gets you playing these things really fast. Have everything tabbed out. I'll put it in the cards and in the description box. Be sure to check that lesson out too. So let's first go over a few of the scales. We're in the key of E minor. We're playing over E minor and B minor. So if you want to play over both chords, what relates to all is things like E natural minor scales, E minor pentatonic and blues scales work great over both chords. You could also use things like, things that relate just to the E minor chord, like E natural minor scales, E Dorian, E minor pentatonic and blues over the E minor chord. And then when it switches, always know the chord you're playing over, right? And the relationships between chords and scales. So important. When it switches to that B minor, you could play things like B minor pentatonic and blues over that B chord, over that B minor chord, B natural minor, right? B minor arpeggios, minor 7, things that relate just to that chord. We'll pull some motifs and licks from this E natural minor scale, 12th fret, low E string root. It looks like this. Maybe we'll use the one off the 7th fret E note. One of the most expressive things you could do, obviously, is string bending. One killer thing you could do is reverse bends. They just lend to this melodicism. So what you want to do is bend the note up to pitch already and then slowly let it down. So you're not bending this way, you're more like bending from top down. So for instance, if you pre-bend the note, like if we do the 15th fret on the B string, and you slowly bring that down, right? You have that almost crying effect, and that works great with any note. You could do it with half steps, right? And so you want to really practice that in several different positions on the different strings. Bend once, let it down, bend twice, right? Let it down, let that string tension bring the note down. But we're concentrating on half steps especially because those are so melodic. There I'm bending to the 9th. I'm taking that 14th fret, bending it to the 15th. Bending that F sharp to G. You heard me do a lick like that when I was playing the solo. Alright, so these reverse bends, half step bends, Really important techniques in the melodic playing. Another thing to do is try to build this melodic motif idea and then kind of repeat it throughout the solo. So you want to find a few groups of notes and build a lick that you really like. So let's try something melodic using the half steps, both of them in the E minor scale. So basically we'll be playing these notes, which is our B to C on the B string, and then we'll use the other two half steps, which is F sharp to G, but I want to find them on the same string. I'll tell you why in a second, so we can play them here. Because we want to slide between them, and let's say we do this lift. Okay, that's a cool lick because what I'm doing is I'm sliding into a half step, playing it descending, then I'm playing the other half step in the scale ascending. So you get that kind of movement. And I go back to the root E. But a lick like that has that half-step melodicism, and a lick that you could kind of build, add notes onto, and return to it. So building these motifs, so important. Take that little melody and build on it, repeat it, right? Vary it a little bit. Use bends, use slides, use these techniques, hammer-ons, pull-offs within developing the theme. If you'd like this same jam track to practice over, I'll tell you what, I'll send you my jam track coach, which basically that has 6 jam tracks, including the one I'm using in this lesson. 6 jam tracks, 2 ebooks. In the ebooks, I go over the tracks one at a time, give you a template, soloing strategies and suggestions. In the other ebook, I diagram out all the scales. Killer 1-2 punch. Just click on that link in the YouTube description box below. I'll send it to you for free. The other thing is really killer for melodic playing is the use of triads. That's just 3 notes and outlining whatever chord. And in this instance, we want to play the 3 notes outlining a B minor triad or an E minor triad, the 3 notes outlining that chord. And they're all over the guitar neck, but you want to pick a few. Let's say we're playing over the B minor chord. And so an easy way to find the triad is on the G string with your 3rd finger. There's our B note. And that's our triad shape. It will always be the same. If I want to play it in E, I find the E note. On the G string, there's my E triad. You could hear as I go between the two, the chord change because I'm outlining the chord, right? You want to play that over its respective chord. It's a cool little lick built off of that triad, just playing the notes twice, sliding into it. And then slide. Now that triad is also within that minor scale I showed you earlier. Here, I showed you the E minor scale at the 7th fret, but if you just move that down to the 2nd fret on the A string. B natural minor, and you could use that over the B minor chord. You could add notes to the B minor scale over that chord, right? I played this lick also in the solo. That's based off of a B minor 7 arpeggio. And with that root on that 2nd fret, built right into that natural minor scale. A good arpeggio playing mixes up the arpeggio with scalar notes, right? When you play them over the chord in that more slower, spacey way, they're really melodic, and it's a great way to bring melodicism into your playing. Take the minor triads all over the neck. You know, you should learn them off the root, off the G string, off the B string, off of the high E string. I'll put another link to lessons in the cards where I'm teaching those triads in different places. They're great for melodic playing. And of course, you know, it bears repeating, like I'm talking about in this lesson, playing over the chord changes. You know, again, really lends to the melodic playing because you're outlining the changes with the notes that you're using in that given chord. In this instance, E minor over the E minor chord, things that relate to that chord, those scales, B minor over the B minor chord. If there was another chord, we'd take that separate. That's what I call treating each chord as a separate event. So you have to listen for the chords you're playing over like I did in the solo, and I'm changing what I'm doing as the chord changes. And at first you might have to think about it like, okay, I'm going to move to this, I'll move to this. But then after a while it becomes much more organic, right? Where you can just concentrate on the expressiveness and not so much on, the mechanics or the methodicalness of what you're doing. It becomes much more of a natural thing. You just got to practice it. I really like using long slides in melodic playing. Something like that is I'm just playing scale notes. I'm playing the notes in that E natural minor scale. Right, but what gives that its juice is those long slides, and I'm sliding descending and ascending. I like doing both. See, descend, then ascend to the next note. Here's the next two notes going up the string. Descend, ascend, which is great because right about the time you're done with that lick, you time it, the chord changes, and now I got to move to B minor. And in the solo, like I moved to that. Right here, I move right into the B natural minor scale or B triad. Another thing is the concept in melodic playing is the concept of space. You want to space your notes out. You don't want to be playing tons and tons of notes all the time. Maybe throw in some flashiness, but you really want to let the notes breathe. That's really important. Listen to a guy like David Gilmour about the concept of space, and he's really such a master at it. Or even Gary Moore in his slower playing, right? So when you're playing a lick like this, right? I'm really letting first of all, I'm bending to the F sharp, which is my 9, because that ninth is such a melodic note. It has so much drama. Another thing with melodic playing is you really want to accent that ninth. I'm doing it a lot when I do the solo, but I like bending to it. So here I'm bending from the E to the F sharp. And that's another thing. Remember I told you about string bending? Hold it, then release it. That's one pick. And I land on a B note choice when you're playing melodically. Even though I play that lick over the E minor chord, right? That B note is the 5th of A minor, so that's a very strong note in that chord. So that's a good note to land on. And then I choose another note in that chord that I really like. For instance, the G note. That G note, that flat third, really strong note. So you see also how I repeat that bend, right? So I do the bend, B note, space, lots of vibrato, bend it again, same exact way. Then I go to another note and I slide into it. Then I repeat the theme with another half step bend, but I'm bending now over the B minor chord, but I'm bending to the 9. In B minor, my 9 is my C sharp. I'm bending that to the D. So I'm using a 9th over each chord, but I'm using it in a way, bend, release, target note. And then when the chord changes, see, bend, release, target note. This time I'm targeting the B because I'm over the B minor chord. So using these techniques and targeting notes while I'm doing the half-step bends, right? While I'm doing the pull-offs and the slides. So we're taking the techniques and we're incorporating them with everything else we do. Because technique on its own really isn't melodic, right? You have to kind of think about the context, the musical context that you're using it, how you're using it, what you're adding to it. These are all some of the techniques and things that you could do to really add melodicism to your playing. And it's something that you could really get the handle on pretty quickly. Just practice it over a musical context, like jam tracks. Click on that link below, get my jam track coach, right? And also just listening to the chord changes, knowing the chords you're playing over, knowing when they're changing, and studying that relationship between chords and scales, between arpeggios and scales, and finding what sounds best to your ears. What scales do you like the sound over which chords, right? And it could be something as simple as just minor, pentatonic, and blues, but working those notes a little differently. And really milking them for all that they're worth, right? Good luck in your melodic playing. I hope these tips help you to really bring out, the emotions, to bring out the expressiveness that we have inside us and help you find your own voice on the guitar, right? Subscribe to that channel, really helps us to keep bringing the content, as well as we'll let you know when we have new lessons posted. Don't forget, get my jam track coach so you can practice this application in a musical context. So important. I'll send it to you. 6 free jam tracks, 2 ebooks. It's a killer practice tool. Just click on that link below. Keep up all that hard work on that guitar. Stay tuned. I got lots more killer content and lessons coming. You can do it. Stay positive, and remember, your guitar playing is an evolution.